A plane takes off from Chicago Airport on a clear spring day. As the wheels leave the runway, it loses power from one of its engines. Suddenly, it rolls to the left. Seconds later, the aircraft hits the ground and disintegrates, smashing into a trailer park. 273 people are dead. Now a team of investigators must find out exactly what went wrong in America's most catastrophic air accident. What they discover will uncover fatal shortcomings in the American aviation business and change the industry forever. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. North America, Illinois, Chicago. America's third biggest city, with the busiest airport in the world. Every minute, a plane lands or takes off from O'Hare International Airport. More than 2,000 flights a day. May 25th, 1979, 12 noon. On its final approach to O'Hare is an American Airlines DC-10, flying in from Phoenix, Arizona. At the controls is 53-year-old Captain Walter Lux. Walter has worked for American Airlines for 29 years. It's 1:30 p.m. and Walter prepares to go off duty when a fellow pilot approaches him. The colleague has to attend a family function and asks Walter whether he'll swap shifts and take flight 191 to Los Angeles that afternoon. Walter has to think hard. It's the Friday before Memorial Day holiday weekend, and Walter is looking forward to the break. The request will mean Walter changing his plans, but he also knows he can call for a return favor in the future.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Back we go again, huh?
Already, passengers are checking in for Flight 191. 21-year-olds Deborah Ann Maruzzi and Doreen Malik are going on the holiday of a lifetime to Hawaii. Debbie's boyfriend, Ray DeVito, sees them off.
Hi now.
See ya. I'm thinking what a great day it was and just how wonderful it is to be able to just hop in a plane and fly to Hawaii. They were going to land in LA and then take off in LA off to Hawaii. I was just caught up in their excitement as well.
At 2 p.m., Captain Walter Lux hooks up with his co-pilot, Captain James Dillard, another experienced pilot. They'll be flying a DC-10 to Los Angeles. Flight 191 is one of the oldest DC-10s in service. It's flown nearly 20,000 hours since 1972. But the plane recently had a major service. It was given the all clear. At 3:01 p.m., 191 pauses for an incoming plane.
3-2 right, position and hold.
All right.
A minute later, it's cleared for takeoff.
0, cleared for takeoff. American 191 on our way.
49-year-old James Dillard will pilot the plane at takeoff and landing. Within 50 seconds, the 170-ton DC-10 reaches takeoff speed.
Rotate.
But just as co-pilot Dillard eases the plane's nose into the sky, he notices he's lost power from engine 1 on the left wing.
Damn.
The plane veers to the left, but Dillard corrects it with the rudder.
Come on!
He knows the DC-10 can fly with just 2 of its 3 engines and has been trained to deal with exactly this scenario. To reduce the load on the 2 remaining engines, Dillard follows AA guidelines and slows the plane to the minimum climbing speed, V2, 283 kilometers per hour. The pilots know the emergency is far from over, but they have the plane climbing evenly again, though slightly slower than normal. Suddenly,
What the?
the plane starts to roll to the left. Ray DeVito watches in horror from the observation deck.
There are two fireballs, like flak from a World War II movie. Two big bangs with a red flash fire, and then it begins to roll over.
Just beyond the airport's runway are a trailer park and the Chicago Police Canine Training Facility. Sergeant Ken Berger and his colleagues see the plane in trouble.
I can hear a plane approaching. The engine is backfiring. It's sputtering.
The DC-10 heads directly for the trailer park, home to hundreds of people. Pilots Lux and Dillard fight to level the aircraft, but the plane does not respond. The nose drops below the horizon. Flight 191 smashes into the ground just short of the trailer park.
It sends a fireball 100 feet in the air, thick black smoke, and I can feel the heat.
The twisted wreckage of 191 lies scattered for hundreds of meters. Debris has smashed into the trailer park, destroying 5 homes. 2 more people are dead. Ray DeVito has run 5 kilometers to reach the crash site.
When I arrive at the crash site, I see pieces of airplane strewn about. I assumed I'm not at the proper site because there's not enough pieces of plane or things here for me to recognize. I slowly allowed myself to accept the fact that nobody survived this accident.
In Phoenix, Arizona, the news alerts Michael Lux, son of pilot Walter Lux. When he hears the flight was out of Chicago, he's relieved.
I knew my father had flown the trip from Phoenix to Chicago, so I thought, oh, thank God he flew that trip home, so it's not him.
As soon as Michael Lux arrives at his home in Phoenix, his world falls to pieces.
I walk in and see one of my best friends. He just has this look that I've never seen, and I was startled, and then I realized our house is full of people, and, you know, where's my mom? What's going on? And it was on the television in the other room that my dad was the captain.
Lord Jesus Christ, Savior of the world, we recommend your servants whom we find here in this distressful incident.
American Airlines Flight 191 ranks as the worst single-plane accident in U.S. history. In total, 273 people died. But what caused the pilots of the DC-10 to lose control of their plane so quickly? Now, by going deep into the official investigation, we can reveal the calamitous chain of events that led to the crash of 191. 11 minutes after the disaster, the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, receives a call. Within the hour, a GO team of 15 expert investigators is on its way to Chicago. Pivotal to the investigation will be the expertise of this man, Michael Marks. In 1979, Marks is senior metallurgist at the NTSB. He will unlock the mystery of why 191 fell out of the sky just 30 seconds after takeoff.
You wouldn't have thought that that could ever happen on an airplane. So it is a shock. It's a shock to you and I and everybody in the world that this type of thing happened.
The task is epic. Evidence is scattered over a square kilometer. But one thing is immediately clear. Halfway down the runway, they find the remains of Engine 1. It must have detached from the wing during takeoff. The question is, why? The investigators hope to find the answer among the debris. While the search continues, the team turns to eyewitnesses, and their luck changes. The testimonies of 60 people point to one stunning moment. During takeoff, they all saw Engine 1 swing forward, then flip up and over the top of the wing. It's a shocking revelation that points towards structural failure. If true, it could potentially affect every DC-10 in the air. This would be the airline industry's worst nightmare. A team of experts from the National Transportation Safety Board investigates America's worst single-plane accident. They know that Flight 191 lost an engine at takeoff. But the loss of one of the DC-10's 3 engines should not be sufficient to bring it down. Yet the plane crashed just 31 seconds later. The team focus their inquiry on why the engine fell off. The finger of suspicion points directly at the structure that holds the engine to the wing. The DC-10 has 3 engines, each weighing more than 5 tons. One is on the tail, the other 2 hang from the wings, each connected by the pylon. A pylon attaches to the wing at 3 points, 2 at the front, 1 at the rear. The team aim to recover every piece of the structure that attached engine 1 to the left wing. They comb the debris field. With help from local police, the parts are taken to a hangar at O'Hare Airport. There, NTSB experts painstakingly piece together and minutely examine every fragment. Michael Marks, senior metallurgist at the NTSB, soon discovers a key piece of the pylon assembly, the flange. Close inspection reveals it's damaged. Damage that looks as if it was caused before the crash.
There was something that was mysterious about it. I did not understand it, but I knew that there was something that was wrong and needed to be investigated more in depth.
Marks takes the part back to his labs in Washington, D.C. The flange has a 33-centimeter crack. Looking at it, Marks's expert eye can decipher a sequence of events. The face of the crack shows signs of fatigue. Like tree rings, it grows line by line, radiating outwards over a period of time. This cannot have been caused in the impact of the crash, and must have happened before. For fatigue to start, something must have weakened the flange. Marks sees evidence of a massive overload, shown by the clean face of a shear. Though he can't say what caused the overload, he knows that it came before the fatigue, and therefore before the crash. Marks and the team decide to check 191's service history. They discover that American Airlines serviced the plane just 8 weeks before its fatal flight.
Whenever you have something happen to an airplane where there's been maintenance in the past, you start looking at what was accomplished during that maintenance operation.
Bud Lehner, NTSB head of engineering, visits American Airlines maintenance facility in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He discovers serious irregularities with the way AA carries out the work. In addition to the routine service, American Airlines replaces the bearings that attach the pylons to the wing. To complete the modification, the engine and pylon must be removed from the wing. The plane's manufacturer, McDonnell Douglas, advised the engine to be detached before the pylon is taken off. But American airline engineers have developed a shortcut of removing the engine and pylon as one whole unit, using nothing more sophisticated than a forklift truck.
The airlines, of course, are interested in doing it the quickest and cheapest way possible.
The team also discover that the modification to 191 did not run smoothly. Engineers started to disconnect the engine and pylon from 191's wing, but changed shift at a crucial moment in the procedure. During the handover, the engine and pylon were left supported by the forklift truck. When work resumed, the pylon was jammed against the wing mounts. The forklift was not carrying the load evenly and had to be repositioned before the pylon could be released. Bud Lehner calls Michael Marks at the NTSB labs with the news.
It just like a light bulb went off, and it just all came to me. And so I said, Bud, not only do I think it could have been caused by something striking it, I can prove it.
The flange is on a bulkhead, bolted to a clevis. When the bolt is removed to detach the pylon, the flange can move up against the clevis. Marks looks at the flange again. It's not just cracked, it's also bent, exactly matching the curve of the clevis. Since the flange can only come into contact with the clevis when the bolt is removed, the crack must have been caused during the removal of the engine and pylon for maintenance. Finally, Marks knows why the engine broke away from the wing. Could other airlines follow the same dangerous shortcuts? The Federal Aviation Administration orders an immediate inspection of all U.S.-operated DC-10s.
I have no choice but to ground all U.S. DC-10s immediately.
Grounding the entire fleet is unprecedented and brings the industry close to meltdown. Inspectors discover that another 4 American Airlines planes have similar damage. Other airlines have also been using the same shortcut. In total, 10 DC-10s are damaged by the procedure. It's a shocking indictment of the American aviation industry. But Marks is aware that DC-10s are able to fly with just 2 engines.
Airplanes don't crash just because an engine comes off. We've had other engines that have come off and flown away and landed, and nobody gets hurt. There had to be other reasons why this particular accident happened.
Back in Chicago, the NTSB team are making headway. They find a 1-meter piece of the left wing on the runway, where the engine fell off. The piece has been ripped away from the rest of the wing. It's a significant clue. This part of the wing carries the hydraulic controls for the slats, which are vital for takeoff. The investigators begin to understand what happened. The engine pylon broke away at the weakened flange. The engine swung round the front mount, up and over the wing, ripping out 1 meter of the leading edge, including the hydraulic control. This is crucial information. At takeoff, the slats on the leading edge extend to increase lift. Without the hydraulic system to hold them in place, wind pressure causes the outboard slats to retract. This reduces lift on the left wing, and the plane rolls to the left. But Dillard should still have been able to fly the plane.
He was flying the airplane. He was literally flying it out after the engine came off, after the slats came back.
Did Dillard deviate from the emergency procedure? The flight data recorder shows that when he lost engine 1, Dillard reduces speed to V2, 283 kilometers per hour, exactly as trained. Yet still, the plane crashed. Marks and the investigation team start to question whether the emergency procedures are at fault. Calculating the exact effect on the aerodynamics, the team recreate 191's flight in a simulator. 70 takeoffs are simulated with exactly the same catastrophic loss of engine and slat retraction. 13 pilots try to correct the plane following the emergency instructions. Not one manages to save the aircraft. It's a shocking revelation. The training manual is wrong. The investigators conclude that reducing speed when the slats are retracted is the worst thing a pilot can do. It guarantees that the plane will stall in mid-air. This is exactly what happened to Flight 191. Now, by rewinding the events of that fateful day, and by following the evidence uncovered during the investigation, we can finally reveal how Flight 191 crashed. 5 minutes to disaster. 191 taxis to runway 32R at Chicago O'Hare Airport, ready for takeoff.
American 191 on our way.
The fatal flaw that will down the flight starts 8 weeks earlier, when the DC-10 undergoes maintenance. As the engine and bulkhead are detached, a flange cracks. Every time the DC-10 takes off and lands over the next 8 weeks, the crack gets worse. 1 minute and 19 seconds to disaster. 191 starts its takeoff roll. During the roll, the cracked flange on the pylon fails. As the nose lifts for takeoff, the pylon rips away from the forward mount, up and over the left wing, taking 1 meter of the leading edge with it. This breaches the hydraulic systems and cuts off the electrical supply to vital cockpit instruments. 32 seconds to disaster.
Damn.
The pilots know that they have lost power from engine 1, but they can't see that they have lost the engine itself and part of the wing. Following emergency procedures, co-pilot Dillard slows to 283 kilometers per hour. The plane continues to climb steadily to 90 meters. Then, as the last of the hydraulic fluid drains away, the outboard slats are forced to retract, causing the plane to lose lift. 10 seconds to disaster. The plane rolls dramatically to the left. The pilots fight to correct this, but the aircraft continues to roll until its wings are past the vertical and the nose pitches below the horizon. At 4 minutes past 3, 191's left wingtip hits the ground and the aircraft explodes. Nobody on the plane survives. 273 people are dead. The catastrophe is still America's worst single-plane accident.
Trying to speed the maintenance process up and save a couple dollars has cost my dad and 272 other people their lives in a horrific airplane disaster.
After the investigation, the NTSB recommends fundamental improvements in the aviation industry. The US government orders a change in maintenance procedures, and pilots are no longer required to reduce speed to V2 after the loss of an engine. But nothing will bring back the victims of Flight 191. The US government fines American Airlines just $500,000 for improper maintenance procedures. McDonnell Douglas shares fall more than 20% after the crash of 191. Eventually, the company is taken over by its rival, Boeing.